Okay, so today with me we have Shad. Shad is a co-founder of Make It in Ukraine. Shad, welcome, and I would love to hear if you don't mind sharing with the community what Make It in Ukraine does and how you can be useful for the English variety community.
Sure, thank you, Anna. So essentially what we do is we take very skilled, what we like to call hidden gems, people with real expertise in a specific domain or area of knowledge, and we just find them great roles abroad, usually in remote companies. And what we try and unlock is the main arbitrage, which is the issue that people have with selling themselves abroad. So we help people prepare for and get ready for interviews with really great companies that pay great compensation, and we help you nail it and actually find those jobs, which otherwise would be very hard to find by yourself.
This is very exciting. This is very exciting because you know that English for IT, we are helping people improve their English and communication skills so that they can get the job of their dreams. So my first question was regarding the job at companies like Google and Facebook, etc., like all those big companies. What does it take to get a job at a company like Google?
Yeah, so I think for most of the people, it's more about the structure of the company. So they're centralized companies. So you'd have to go to one of the geographies where you can get a job, right? Like London or Dublin or San Francisco, for these big companies. What I would say is, if you want to work for one of these large companies, the best way to actually nail a job there is simply to apply. Nowadays they use many automated systems at the big companies for the interview filtering. So if you have the relevant experience and like you feel like you're good enough, then the best thing you can do is just apply and not be scared of applying.
All right, that's a good point, not to be scared of applying, because I think that a lot of tech professionals, they underestimate their skills and they're just afraid. So they're just sitting there. Speaking of skills, if you want to work for big companies like Google or like, any other companies, yeah, definitely you have to have a really good tech stack, right? What about soft skills? What are the top soft skills that you would recommend focusing on when looking for a job at a big company?
The main skill at a big company like Google is just being able to handle burnout and to show that the recruiter that you're kind of all in person, that you're going to be absorbed into the company and whatever they're doing. So I'd say in terms of soft skills, it becomes more about working in a team. There's much more bureaucracy, so they'll expect product side experience, right? And you can get this type of experience from great product companies in Ukraine, such as Better Me, Grammarly, and so on, right? So you can start getting this product experience in big teams. You won't really get it like agency side at Cyclum or something.
I think for some people, this is also a challenge to get into a company like Grammarly, like you said, or Better Me. Make It in Ukraine, do you guys only help with relocating and remote jobs, or do you also like consult on the like locally here in Ukraine, or maybe, I don't know, in Belarus or Russia too?
Yeah, so we also operate in Ukraine, but it's the case that we find a great senior developer who has solid English. He can make $3,000 a month in Ukraine or $8,000 a month in Berlin. So which one does he want? So yes, we have Ukrainian clients, but their standards are just as tough, if not tougher. And it's just a choice between like, do you go local and support like a project, or do you just kind of want to make money for your family?
Yeah, that's very interesting. By the way, Shad, would you mind like sharing a really interesting case from your experience, or like, a case with a software engineer relocating or, getting a job? That would be quite interesting if something is like on the top of your.
Yeah, sure. So actually, our first case, this was close to a year ago now, which really switched my mind onto this business, was a gentleman called Igor from Odessa. He was 29 years old. He could still be 29 years old, and he was a lead engineer, a very young lead engineer. He was making $40,000 a year working in Ukraine and freelancing. And we got him a CTO position for 80,000 euros a year in Berlin,
Wow.
plus bonuses, plus equity. And he had the option for paid relocation and visa. after 3 months of trialing with the team, and they love him, and he actually became their CTO.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you guys do it? Did you have to like do some kind of a prep work with the candidate, or he had to do everything on his own?
You can do as much as you want to create a facade and perception when it comes to the interview process, but the ultimate test will be how much value you can deliver, right? And how well you're able to convey that to the client. The main thing that we prepped him on is just don't belabor your tech stack, belabor the value. Like, you should demonstrate the value you provided for your past companies, because this specific gentleman, he was applying for a senior role where you're leading a team, you're making architecture, it's less about execution. So in this specific scenario, Anna, we were trying to get him to convey not just how well he is at coding, but he led a team on a banking project before. He's hired before. He understands this. So Eagle, go and speak about this. This is what they want to hear, right? And that's just that's a benefit we have, because we obviously sell the clients, so we know that their exact pain points. And so we can just confer those pain points to the candidates and be like, look, these guys are struggling. They need to hire right now and they need someone to do this, this, and this. So if you go to the interview and you say this, this, and this, and you can do it because you've done it before for 10 years, you will probably nail this.
This is amazing. This is very interesting what you just said. This is something that I keep communicating to our community, that you have to think from the business perspective as well. When you want to present yourself at a job interview, you have to look at the company and like what they want, like what their pain points are. So with you guys, it's like very, very simple, because you analyze the client and the market, and kind of know what they want. Yeah. So technically here, like you said, yeah, you can show the value of your tech stack, but it's more important that you show how you can solve the client's problems. Am I right here?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And that's the soft skill here, right? That's the soft skill for you to try to be able to understand how business works and how you can contribute to its growth, actually. So that's great. Yeah. So what about Igor? Like, do you guys keep in touch with him? Is he still in Berlin?
So he hasn't gone to Berlin yet. He stayed in. So he got hired. Oh, I can't remember how long ago it was now. My years are all mixed up. It's super long ago. And he had the option after 3 months to go to Berlin. It wasn't actually Berlin. It was like 20 kilometers outside. But I don't think he did it. But we should check in on him again. We only check on our candidates for 3 months, like after they.
Okay.
Maybe for longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I want to know now. I want to know.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story. By the way, do you only work with tech specialists, or technical professionals, or maybe like project managers or product managers, designers?
We work with all of the above, but our focus is on technical and creative. But we do get a bunch of requests for project managers and even marketers, but it's more like technical marketers. So they'll come to us not for copywriting, right? But they'll come to us for paid advertising, let's say.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I have another question. So once you get hired and you start working at a company on a multicultural team, I don't know, in a different country or remotely now, so what would be your advice here? Like, because like once you get tired, it's not the end of the game, you have to technically now show everything that you promised them during the job interview. So what would be your recommendations here that the candidates should follow to work well and to work better, once they join the new team, the new multicultural and English speaking team?
This is a really interesting question, especially in today's world. I would say create a mental model that every single team is its own culture. And if you want to thrive in that culture, you must in some way participate within it and follow that culture's rules. And if you don't like that culture for whatever reason, that's also okay. The team culture might not match how you want to live, but then it might not be the right company for you, and you'll find out anyway. I would say first and foremost, it's not politics, it's culture in these remote teams. So just understanding the decorum, understanding, okay, people just work to get tasks done, but they're not working 8 hours straight. They want to split their hours in certain ways, right? They communicate in a certain way. They're not sending memes. They are sending memes. People are joking, and it's just getting a gauge and a temperature on what that specific remote culture is. and participating within that. And that's when you're going to see, the most benefit. And the reason I bring this up, Anna, is because the one feedback we hear is, especially for developers, is, oh, the talent's so great, but they never speak, right? They never speak.
I
And
know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, totally. They never speak. They're just like sitting back, kind of like frightened to come out there. And I personally think that there are two reasons for this. It's English level, because if you're fluent, you're not afraid. But even if you are quite fluent, you may like still be like sitting back there because you're not aware of how to communicate, like the culture of communication. And we're very different with the Western cultures, like here in the Eastern Europe, we are more quiet. If you compare, like, Americans are like talking too much. By the way, speaking of Americans and British, you guys are more reserved in the way you communicate.
Sure, more reserved. I mean, it's just a differentiating factor, right? Like for most of the companies, it'll have this American fast-paced culture still. So still want to have like a startup culture. So if you're sitting back and being quiet, just game theory wise, you're always going to kind of lose, because even if the quality of your work is good, you're not really shouting about it. So it's very important to keep a level of loudness, and not just sit and be quiet in these cultures.
I think for an average Eastern European, I think like they're not going to be super loud at this point. It's just it's important to go out there and just say some things. I have a story to share. It happened with one of my students. So I was like teaching them new vocabulary, and I shared I started teaching English through Twitter. So I use tweets, and I base like 5-minute lessons based of this tweets, like grammar or vocabulary. So there was this one tweet that got posted by Lattice CEO, co-founder of Lattice, Jack Altman. And Jack was, I think it was the time of president election, and very bad news all over. And he was like, I'm gonna try not to doom scroll myself to death, or like something like that. So he mentioned that. I was like, wow, that's a very interesting word, doom scroll. And it's relatively new. People started using it in the pandemic times. So I shared this tweet, and like I taught this vocabulary lesson, and my student was super smart, because he works remotely for an American company, and they were just chatting about like bad news and things like that. And his founder, like CEO of his company, he was just mentioning something like, oh, I'm so tired of this bad news and things like that. And my student just like texted, hey, Adam, don't worry, try not to doom scroll yourself too much today. And Alex, and this guy, like the CEO of the company, he was like, wow, that's amazing. This is the second time I've heard this word this week, or something like that. He probably followed Jack Altman as well on Twitter. But it was amazing, because my student was able to actually show that he exists in this group, in this chat. Because like I've been telling him, like, hey, you have to like pitch in, you have to like throw in some words, you have to throw in some sentences there. But it's hard, because like this is like, if you are more reserved personality, if you're going to be reserved even in online chatting. So anyway, it helped him to stand out. I was really happy. And it kind of also like when you do this frequently, then you feel more confident. Then you feel better about just sharing more things in the chat even. So yeah, I wish. So what would you say, like, what would be your recommendation here to everyone who is sitting now and who is afraid to send a text message in their work chats, in their group chats in English? What would you say? How can they overcome this barrier?
First, I would keep in mind that you don't need to be the center of attention. You just need to exist, right? So you just need to demonstrate that you exist. And if you're not starting conversations, transition into replying to people and asking questions, and just commenting on things in a way that lifts other people up. You can't really go wrong if you think of your words as a social currency. If you're replying to things like, oh, this is great graphic design that Lisa did, or oh, great job on the PR to Dennis, and just like clapping and stuff, and you're just responding and lifting people up. You can't go wrong, and it's a great way to transition. You'll find it easier to then ask questions and make statements and share things that you think are of value.
Awesome. So I would like to recap here. I think you can start by praising people, yeah, by saying that somebody did a good job. And definitely this is another piece of communication culture that we have to learn, like Eastern Europeans, because in Eastern
Oh yeah.
European countries we
Right.
don't like to praise people, like we don't do
Oh,
this. You know, some Ukrainian managers told me, Anna, you know, if in Ukraine you receive zero feedback, it means you're doing a good job. And
yeah. I tell
if
you
because
money what.
yeah, because if you receive feedback, it's going to be only negative feedback, you know, like people don't say that you did a good job. So this is another thing. Yeah. So this is basically killing two birds with one stone. You can say good things about somebody else's work. So you kind of learn how to praise people, how to deliver positive feedback. Plus you show that you exist, like you said, right? So my other question is regarding how to build or how to start building a career of your dream in 2021. You know, we just started here. So what would be your recommendation here? What should professionals focus on if they want to, you know, excel in their careers?
What level of talent we're talking? Like people just like 19-year-olds or like 39?
Oh, actually, I would say that somebody who is already working in tech or planning to work, but not students. You know, I think that a lot of we can talk about any like, you know, whichever advice you have to. Yeah, that would be interesting to hear.
So I will give like the banal platitude, the cliche advice first, but I think it's like a useful thing to focus on here. I think first and foremost, you know, what is your dream job? Okay, my dream job is X. I do this at this company and I get paid so much money. Okay, so you know, go find 20 of these job postings on AngelList, LinkedIn, wherever, Crunchbase, and pull out all of the requirements and recommendations. Oh, they want on average 5 years experience. They want these skills. And it's just a question of scale. If we're talking about career, we're talking about roles, then you know, most of you, if you already have the skills, it's just about positioning yourself in a way such that when you go to these clients, you get the job, right? So much like anything in life, let's say Anna's English website, for every 100 visitors on her website, you know, 5 people will convert into a newsletter list, and of those 5, you know, 1 or 2 will buy her educational programs to help them. So there's like a funnel, right? The same thing can be said for hiring. So if you apply to 20 or 50 jobs, it's just more likely you're going to get a response. So first, I would collect the information, I would understand the market and understand what my dream job looks like. What are the expectations? You know, what industries are the best place to specifically apply my role? Once I have that, I would reverse engineer it and create my own, you know, resume and portfolio based upon this. And then I would go and reach out to these 20 jobs. And if you just want to take it seriously, you can just level up the seriousness. You can apply to you can message all the recruiters on LinkedIn at the same time while you're applying to the jobs. You can email them at the same time. You can make video applications on Loom while applying to jobs with your cover letters. You know, it's all about perseverance and how hard you're willing to go. I guarantee anyone, if you find 20 job postings of your dream job with your dream salary, and you reverse engineer it and you build your portfolio and you just apply to them with the highest quality as possible, you will land a bunch of interviews. Like it will just happen if you just grind through it, you know. And if it doesn't happen, if you apply to 50 different companies with a great application, and it all saying no, then you know something's wrong. You know, you need to reevaluate, shoot lower, or improve your skills to get to that level.
That's amazing. That's very motivational. Yeah. Technically, you have to act. That's the bottom line here. Yeah. Like you have to do things. You know, recently I read this phrase in the book, you know, we have to switch from the habit of thinking to the habit of action, meaning
Right.
that, you know, yeah, we have all the thoughts in our head, like, I want to have this job, I want to earn that much, but we don't do much to make it happen, actually. So, yeah, switching from the habit of thinking into the habit of action would help here as well. I really like that you said that you need to, you know, choose your 20 jobs and start applying for them. There's one thing that I wanted to note here, that when you apply for these jobs, you have to also you have to apply for each job individually, right? Like I read that you should not be like recycling the same CV for every job, because, you know, companies have different requirements requirements there. So if you just like, bulk send all this cover letters and CVs, it's not gonna, it may not have the result that you're looking for. Am I right here, Shad?
Yeah, definitely. I would pace it. I mean, if you do the application to, reconfigure the application for each company is 30 minutes max, right? In my opinion. And I would say, okay, I'm going to do 5 a day for the next 20 days. I'm just going to do
Okay,
5.
so it's like you would say that it's like 40 minutes per application, right?
Yeah. It just depends on, like, for example, with Google, like you mentioned at the start of our talk, you can just apply once. They just take it. They don't even ask for a cover letter. They don't want a cover letter. So you can apply for like 3 jobs every month just through their platform, right? Also, there's scalable ways. For example, if you're on LinkedIn or Angel List, there's more scalable ways to apply and standardized forms and whatnot. But there's tons of jobs right now. There's so many jobs.
Yeah, I know. Like when people say that there are no jobs, so this is probably they're just being lazy or not wanting to look out there. Yeah.
There's a huge shortage of supply. Like there's a huge demand for really talented people right now, and a very huge shortage of supply.
Nice, Shad. And just well, I didn't ask you at the very beginning. Sorry about your background. So you were from the UK, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How long have you been living in Kiev?
5 years.
Nice. So you must like it here.
Yeah, but I don't like the pollution. The pollution's getting worse and worse. And I was looking at the AQI index, the air quality, and it's like the same as Mumbai, When you walk outside,
Wow, really?
you smell the burning wood. You just smell it in the air. I don't know. Yeah, I want to go maybe a little bit outside or live in like Golofskia.
So how often do you go back to the UK?
It was once or twice a year before, but now it's been a while. There's no reason to go to the UK at the moment.
I see. Well, the air there is probably better if you can feel the difference here.
Oh, I highly doubt it. I think the air in London would be much worse.
Okay. Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, Shad, thank you very much. Thank you very much for finding the time and sharing your knowledge. I mean, I love what you guys are doing, and I especially love that you analyze everything and you help the candidates with some advice and recommendations. So for someone who really wants to relocate and live in a different country and get like a good job out there, I think you guys are doing a great job. So it's always nice to do business with you. So thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. This was really fun, and I hope it gave some value to some people. No, just a quick plug. So guys, we have really crazy roles available for seniors in data science, AI, and Solidity. Roles starting from $10,000 a month plus bonuses. So if you're a senior in these roles, if you're a senior in these roles, 7 or more years experience, please contact us.
Absolutely. I'm going to attach a link to the website under this video anyways. So you guys can check out the recent job listings there, and maybe you get a chance to have a one-on-one with Shad like I just did. Amazing.